Join the dicey bastards.
6 writers face off by a roll of the dice. They'll fight dirty, leave nothing behind but fingerprints and a tall tale. Stealing hearts, breaking parts, with plenty of time to kill.
Dicey, but never fair bastards. Death is always near. Dicey, you know they can't be trusted bastards. Come on and join the dicey bastards.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Side Quest, the features we do between the features we do, for which the weechers we do and the nichers we sue. All right, I think I got through that mostly intact. I am Drew Hayes. Joining me today is Robert Bevan, MK Gibson, EM Kaplan, Rick Gualteri, and Steve Wetherill.
Hello.
Hello, friend.
Howdy, howdy.
And apparently the Dr. Seuss estate is suing you, it looks like. Something about sneeches and breaches. Yeah, you are in breaches of sneech contracts, so don't do that.
I've been plotting some 5-minute Sherlock, so I'm a bit of verbal off-roading right now. You can't touch that one without going crazy in the linguistics department. But we're not here to talk about plugs, except we are here to talk about plugs, because we are going to Con Carolinas.
Hooray.
Insert
Linus,
trumpet
Linus,
flare
Linus.
that's not, trademark. All right,
Boop-a-doo.
good. I'm glad we put the whole symphony. Sorry to put that all on you, Steve, but it was good to put it in there. Anyway, so we are going to go to Con Carolinas 2026. For those who do not know, Con Carolinas is held in North Carolina. It is in May. I believe it is toward the end of May, but I'll let one
It's
of
also
those guys.
Charlotte, just like it's a big state. Charlotte, North
Fair
Carolina.
enough, Charlotte. One of y'all can look up the dates while I'm doing this patter, because we have been to Con Carolinas before. We are going back collectively as a group. That does not mean the entire Authors and Dragons cast will be there, but there are going to be several of us, and I believe everyone on this call.
Still up in the air.
I'll be there.
Probably.
I'll be there.
May 29th through May 31st, and yes, I'll be there.
All right, so everyone but Rick is confirmed. Rick is a maybe, and we have a lot of fun things there. We have something very special that we're planning to debut there, something that I think a lot of folks will be very excited about, and that is all I'm going to say for now, because we're still months out. We got to build that shit up. And speaking of, we're here having a side quest about conventions. We're going to talk about, well, conventions that we have liked, that we have loved, that we have learned. Probably not that one.
Lost?
Lost. Yeah, we can do Lost.
Yeah, there's definitely some lost times at conventions.
Oh, God, there are. So let's go ahead and just jump on in. We have, I think, all been to Charlotte Con Carolinas before. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the
Yes.
first con I
Okay.
did.
Oh, man. So what is everybody looking forward to about their return to Charlotte Con Carolinas specifically?
The escalator not working.
It worked. I just fell down it.
No, the last couple times I've been there, it hasn't worked, and the elevator randomly stopping and locking people in there for a few minutes at a time. No, honestly, it's just the familiar, some of the same people, like some of the same familiar, like the love, the group, the group dynamics of like some of the authors you've seen, even some of the fans. Like there is a sense of family to that particular convention in that particular area all the time, and it's very welcoming, very inviting.
The hotel itself is like set up really well for a convention. Hence why we had IndieCon there at one point. But outside of seeing people, outside of talking to familiar faces, all that stuff, meeting new friends, my favorite is famous Toastery in the morning. I love eating breakfast there.
Oh, yeah, Famous Toastery is pretty damn tasty.
So what time you two get up at the crack of dawn or before the crack of dawn?
Oh, I'm up so I can see dawn's crack long before it even feels the breeze.
You're over there eating your eggs and your coffee or whatever, pitch black.
Yeah, I like the Toastery too, because it's sort of one of those. I would call it a unofficial meetup because it's fairly well known that Rick and I like it, and we do go usually at least once when we're there. And, of course, if you want to try and go there around the same time with us, you're welcome to. But that means you got to wake up at fucking opening on a con weekend. So,
Because I plan on going there this time, driving down on Thursday and staying and leaving on Monday morning. That's my intent for this one. I'm not gonna rush myself. I'm gonna just lean into it and enjoy it.
I'm also planning to stay a little extra there because it's a chance to see all of you. So if I'm being perfectly honest, the thing I'm most looking forward to is seeing all of you.
Yeah,
But that's not really A, specific to Charlotte, North Carolina, or B, relevant to the Con Carolinas thing. So I will throw out a plug for Boardwalk Billy's, Bayou Billy's. I can't remember the name of it now, but it's directly across. It's a pretty medium seafood restaurant slash bar, but I don't know. At a certain point, familiarity became affection, and I just fucking like it. It's a little bit trashy. That's what it is. It's got a beach trash vibe, and as natural beach trash, it just calls to me.
Like attracts like.
Yeah, exactly. I walk in and I'm like, I have returned to the home of my people. There's Jimmy Buffett knockoff there. It is.
that Mexican restaurant right across the little river walk there. I love their fajitas.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. That was good.
And their overpriced margaritas. It makes me happy every single time. I've never been like I get exactly what I want, and that brings me joy.
I remember having a huge group meal over there with a bunch of A&D people, like Matthew McCormick, Becky Young.
Oh, they've been like a musician, like Beck. Wow.
No,
Oh yeah, he was a huge fan in the early days.
just like Rick fans and A&D fans, just like 20 or 30 of us all smushing into that Mexican restaurant. That was super fun.
Weirdly enough, that pool is always open, and it's always like I love like doing just swimming in the morning. Just wakes me up. I like that, and it makes me happy.
I do love a pool, especially after a few beers the night before.
Yes.
I love a pool in the morning and a hot tub, either one.
I love to smoke in area.
Yeah, me too.
I'm actually cutting down on cigarettes, so I think I'm going to save it all up for Con Carolinas.
Exactly. I might start up again just to hang out in that area for something to do while I'm there.
I'll grab like a CBD vape just to hang out with you guys while I'm up there.
Shove an entire pack into my mouth. Yeah, I have fun memories.
Before it was Con Carolinas, my first interaction with you guys when I was just a friend of the podcast, when I was a guest on one of the side quests, you guys invited me to be a guest at the A&D Con like 2022. So that was like my first time being at that hotel. So like it was before Con Carolinas, it was A&D Con, it was that. So that's my touchstone to that place, and so when I went back for Con Carolina, I was like, oh, it's nice, but it's I miss the A&D crowd, but yeah. So I'm happy to see that we're having like a quasi mini reunion within a convention. So
Indeed. It's definitely, we do want to be clear, this is Con Carolinas. We're not running the programming or anything like that, but it is the A&D cast. We will, of course, try to put some A&D themed stuff together where we can, be it inside or outside, on hours, after hours. I'm sure you will find us. If you know where the smoking area and the bar is, you will fucking find us.
Within there, when we talked to John last time, to the best of it, like A&D will have our own table. So some of our books there'll be two tables together that we will just have our stuff there. It'll be sold, and then you'll find one or two of us at dinner at any given point. So
yes, we will even try to use that table to schedule some specific time signings, because I know that is a hurdle that a lot of people have hit in cons in past years, is trying to pin us down to get books signed. So we're really going to make an effort for that. And actually, that's a great transition point, thanks Drew, to our next topic, which is best con practices, things we have seen, learned from, experienced at conventions that we're like, wow, that's really smart, something we might want to apply to our own if we ever run one again, or what we can do in these smaller things. So now I'll give an example to kick off. I think I've talked about this one before, but I did a convention a couple years ago where they gave everyone a notebook with printed, it was a signature notebook. So it had every single author who was there, who had a table, like a place that you could concretely find them. And then it had a space for you to get their signature. And then if you got all of the signatures, there was a raffle that entered you into for, I think, like 10 books or something. This was a romance convention, so books were a fucking hot commodity. I should clarify that. And I was fucking floored by how much organic traffic we got as the non-romance people, just because that little book was a motivator for everyone to seek us out. And so even though I was at a convention where I was obviously not the target demographic, I had so many people coming by, talking, occasionally picking up a book to try. and all felt very organic and self-driven because it was all them searching for us. And I was just like, this is so brilliant. If we had done an A&D con after that experience, I absolutely would have stolen it and used it, because it was just chef's kiss smart.
That's super clever.
Yeah.
I do like what John Hartness used to do, or maybe he still does, in making little like playing cards for a lot of his authors. Like I have a Fandango the Fantastical playing card that I share with him, and people would come around and either collect them from us or get them signed. That was super fun too.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, good news on that front. Just to interject with a bit of plugging, the A&D card game should be available at Con Carolinas, and I will be hopefully doing some demo plays with people. So if you want cards with podcast characters on them, that is the entire point of Murder Hobo Tavern Brawl.
Honestly, my favorite is something we incorporated, because one of the things we've tried to do with the A&D cons is is look at what other conventions have done well or done poorly, and tried to say, okay, how can we do this better? How can we fix this? And one thing that we've incorporated in past A&D cons that I love, especially as somebody who's not particularly good socially, is the concept of, okay, if you're in a group with friends and you're talking and you see somebody sitting alone, reach out and see if they want to join you. Purposely do that. And let me tell you, I saw that happen to so many people at the various A&D cons we've done, and some of them were kind of so about it, but a few people, you could see their faces light up of like, okay, I'm being invited to something now. I don't have to sit alone, and I can be part of the conversation. I just love that. But I do like that concept of what Drew was saying with regards to the autograph book. The last convention I did, or last big convention I did, was Scares or Cares with DM Gay, and this little girl, with her mom, had an autograph book and literally made it a point to go to every author and get an autograph. And let me just tell you, that was just the best feeling.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm going to second Steve on the smoking area.
That's your best practice at a convention.
Oh.
You like?
I mean, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, the smoking areas where I've actually I've met just really cool people, got good ideas for I've learned about other authors, I've learned about other things. It's like in business, that's where shit gets done, is at the smoking area, and you find out about it. It's like the insider trading of all the things. Yeah, the smoking area is a fantastic spot. But the same thing, you're finding people that sometimes when the convention's over, people go, basically some people go to the bar for those who drink, or they go sit outside. But if you see somebody alone, just you merge the two. It's like what Rick was saying. Grab somebody, especially in these smaller conventions, hey, what do you like? And you see their badge or the little tags on their badge. You see what they're into. Because everybody starts collecting those little stickers on them. So you can make everybody feel welcome, make everybody feel it's a cool place. What's your geek? What do you happen to be into? And yeah, it's always it's more fun that way.
Okay, best practice, bring a cooler full of beer wherever you go.
I'm going to call that a Bob's practice.
And avoid the escalators.
Didn't you also bring your can crusher one year?
1 year, yes.
Yeah, we have that documented.
Yeah.
A massive log.
I think we have video of that on the A&D YouTube for any dedicated folks. Or maybe there's a link in the description. Go find out now.
No, wait, don't go. Come back.
Just stay here.
That's one of the things I like about smoking. I'm not a big crowds guy. I don't like crowds. I'm always very aware of kind of the space around me. It's annoying. I'm not saying that people are annoying. It's just I feel antsy in crowds. So smoking is not just an addictive habit. It's going to kill me. It's also a really useful social crutch. So
it's also a great excuse to get out of something when you're just I need to pop outside real fast. Just to sometimes it gets overwhelming, and that is the guy. So I've not seen this at certain conventions, but I think they should be. Which is basically if I had a little thing on me that just says timeout, I'm okay. I'm just on a break. Like as a human being, like I'm not sad. I'm not freaking out. Like I need a decompression break from the amount of peopling that's going around me. Like they can get overwhelming. That many nerds and that
A little sign around your neck, just like temporarily out of order.
Yes.
I mean, we did something akin to that with the Quiet Room at the A&D Portland Con, because that sort of, I think that was the intent of that, was a place where anybody, us or attendees, could just step in, and the implication is like it's sort of the group room with the sign of "not broken, just resting."
Mm.
Oh, well, I took Stone Cold to that convention. It was the first one I took him to, and as soon as somebody mentioned a quiet room, I thought, "Oh, he's gonna ruin that," because it's just in his nature. And sure enough, it's the first thing he did. He just sat in there in sunglasses and a leather jacket, just being as still and quiet as possible, creating an aura of extreme unwelcomeness. It's like total malicious compliance of the quiet room.
Yeah. I remember that getting a few mentions.
I did not hear about that.
I remember it.
It is hilarious, but the room's there
Positioned
for
in
a
the
reason.
corner, staring at the door.
Specifically, the people who really much need that room are the ones going to be most freaked out by you weirdo.
Con Carolinas is the place where I first met Steve in person. I think I was cramming myself in the elevator with my kids, and this really tall guy kind of lunged, could have been any of you actually, really tall guy lunged at me from kind of the corner. He's like, "Emily, is that you?"
I've been living in this elevator.
Am I crazy? Did the elevator get stuck one year?
I've never been stuck on the elevator, but yeah, elevators getting stuck seems to happen every time we've been there, I
Well,
think.
Like when I did not go to Con Carolinas last year. I was a guest, but I had to unfortunately cancel it because I was moving. So I canceled all my conventions last summer. But the summer before that, I was at the convention and I was hanging out with the people that created. You remember when we played in Apparel with Andrell and Aaron. Well, Andrell got stuck in that elevator that year. Like we're down there, we're testing the game out, we're playing with Dinnaman, hanging out. And then she went to do something. She came back like 45 minutes later. She's like, "I've been stuck in the elevator," and she's already claustrophobic, miserable.
Oh, no.
Like, oh yeah, she was having a panic attack in the stuck elevator.
Could have been worse. Stone Cold could have been there in a leather jacket and sunglasses, just staring menacingly.
Staring
Sitting in the corner
silently.
of the-
I could be remembering wrong. I'm 90% sure one of us was had to shit very bad and hit like a jam at the elevator.
Oh,
That happened to me a
Wasn't it-
couple of times.
I think it might have been you I was thinking of.
Was that during the Taco Bell year?
Yeah, you guys fed him
No,
Taco
that
Bell.
was the Taco Bell. That's right. It was the aftermath. If you haven't gone through our old YouTube stuff, we have the first time Steve was experiencing Taco Bell. Actually, the first time we met Steve was at a Con Carolina.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I remember like being just silently angry because Steve showed up and he was just so much better at it than the rest of us. He's just walking around handing people Brandon Thigh Master, like, brochures and stuff. And I was just like, God damn, this guy's good, motherfucker.
I was doing the bare minimum of crowd work, guys.
Hey, wait, when did you guys go to New Orleans?
That was the year before,
That
right?
was before
Yeah, it was
Steve.
the year
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ah, BS before Steve.
indeed.
I
dark
will say our walk through Bourbon Street was fun.
Indeed, it's hard not to have fun on Bourbon Street. And I mean, if we're going to talk about conventions past, we do have to mention the original A&D Con Vegas.
That was fucking
that
great.
was wild.
That was very intense.
Yeah.
Yes. That casino's not even fucking there anymore. I mean, it is. Now it's called the Horseshoe, not Bally's, but Bally's
wow.
is gone.
I did not know that. That's weird.
Yeah, I did not.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Changed like last year.
I've still got my souvenir gambling chip from there. Oh,
Although, if I had to pick, I think my single favorite. I mean, there was a lot of good ones, but as awful as the hotel for Nashville was, that weird theater in the round hotel setup, I love the fact that there was a central place. So like it almost just kind of like, I guess, evolved naturally where I'd get up. I was rooming, I think, with John at the time, and I would just be like, okay, I can't hang out in the room, and I'd just go and sit in one of the tables, and little by little, people would just join me there at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah, it's convenient for that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nashville was fun. I feel like we were sort of fucked on Nashville a little bit from the minute that everybody started going to the wrong Gaylord hotel
Yes.
and then coming to ours. So
Yeah, especially because that one was a lot nicer.
Oh, so much nicer.
yeah, if you weren't one of the people at A&D Nashville, you missed a lot of fun. But we were at a place called, I think, like the Motel at Gaylord or something like that. And Gaylord is a property of incredibly nice, not even hotels, resort almost. Like there's arboretums, there's like water parks at some of them. I mean, these are fucking insane layout, massive luxury structures. And when people got to Nashville and punched in stuff on their Uber, it took them to the Gaylord, the big, fancy, beautiful one. And then they were told that this is not where their convention was. Get back in your fucking car. And you go across the street to the perfectly fine, like, it was a perfectly fine hotel. It was probably on par with several of the others we've utilized. Granted, the theater and around structure was not great, but I mean, the rooms weren't subpar by any means. But
We had a
it was
beautiful view of abandoned Shoney's.
yeah, it was a fine convention hotel, but compared to what they had just left, it was just like, oh fuck me. Of course, you don't even want to know what that convention would have cost if we had to pay for that space and those rooms.
Mm.
I can't even fathom what the numbers would have been for that place, because whoo, cons were not even cheap where we were doing them.
Well, because I've got a chance to sit here with some other authors. There's one of the things that don't come up very often because when you're talking, when we all hanging out, we usually playing a game or something like that. But just from authors other than other authors, when I started doing this thing, I was like, I'm coming up with my 10 years as being an indie author, and I've been enjoying this process. But cons I do sometimes, and not as many as I should. I always try to get into a cycle, but I keep falling in and out of it. But like, I still feel like an idiot every time I go to a convention or what I should or should not be doing. Am I the only one? Do you guys have this like imposter syndrome that kicks in, or like how I should be behaving?
Oh,
or
yeah,
should
absolutely.
Be doing?
I don't even go to cons anymore unless you guys are there, because I don't know what the hell to do. I don't really enjoy anything about a con except for the hanging out in the smoking area. Unless it's Authors and Dragons Con, because then all the people are there to see me, and that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, 25 people.
Well, yeah,
dressed
we have a
as
legion of people
sorcerer.
like wearing your Jorcer outfit.
Right.
I guess my ego could be inflated a little bit. I would understand.
Oh, Bob, remember that con Carolinas we did where we were hanging out in like the lobby, and this like old couple just kind of like walked past and then kind of came back, and it turned out they had like flown like all the way across the country to like see us.
I do remember that.
And that was
Good
like
feelings.
weird. It was just, yeah.
Because sometimes when I'm working a convention, I'm like at a table. If I'm by myself, it's like there's whenever somebody comes, I like to stand up when people come to the table and like so. But you also feel sometimes like the puppy who's not being adopted at the rescue place when people walk by, look and keep on walking. Like, oh, do I have to be cuter? What do I have to do here?
I will tell you, Gibby, I have found conventions a lot better since I made some like decisions about why I'm there and what I'm doing. I don't try to shill at tables anymore. I have my laptop out and I'll work. And if someone comes up, I will set it all down and absolutely like make time for them. But
Right.
I have decided that I am there to be available for the people who want to see me. I am not there to try and shill new people in, because that's just more emotional
I'm not
energy.
a barker. I'm not there
Yeah.
like, come get my books right here. No, it's more like if people want to stop by the books, I'll always engage in a conversation, but I'm not going to like, when I sit there, I'm at the table. I'm not ignoring you until you make eye contact, but I'm also like, not like, where's that? I'm not watching you to try to get you to get the books, because that's creepy, so you're
Yeah.
trying to find that right balance.
We only have so much energy, intellectual, emotional, however you want to classify it in a day. And I think I benefit from reserving it for the people who are there to see me. Like those are the people who I'm supposed to be the most on and engaged for. And so that's kind of where I try to reserve myself. I really treat it like stagecraft at this point. And I think it's been very helpful and healthy in a lot of ways for me. I mean, y'all, if you've seen me at conventions in recent years, or if you're on my Patreon, I just did a blog about why I kind of changed up my outfit to a very specific sort of costume. If we're going to be honest, it's a 3-piece suit, usually in a fun color with a vest, a pocket square, a fun hat, and usually some distincting marker. And I have really found that helps alleviate the issue of people not recognizing who I am, because for whatever reason, there's a running joke of people will be at my table buying my books, talking to me about the books, and not realize that I wrote the books. So being more immediately recognizable has very much sort of helped with that. And I don't know, I just feel like putting a costume on and off really sort of helps delineate the process of I am stepping onto a stage. From the minute I'm in this hall until I'm back in my room, I am in public view. I am presenting an image because we're there to be available for the people who want to see us. And, I'm not trying to say that everything is falsified, but I'm of course bringing my best energy, my most upbeat, because that's what you want. We're there for you, and so we're going to try to do our best jobs for you.
That's exactly like Steve in the Golden Hot Pants.
Exactly like Steve in the Golden Hot Pants.
You joke, but yes.
It was what's funny is because again, I met you guys in 2022. I mean, we met over we're doing the call like this. We're doing a side quest. Or I was in an interview. That was cool. Good times. And I was do my best to kind of keep it all internal because I read all of y'all's books and so I was coming out as a fan and I wouldn't be that guy. So I'm at the convention. That's one thing, but then saw Steve in the hot pants. They're like, that's a thing. Okay. But it was the next year in Portland where I'm sitting at the table and Steve is standing there with talking to JLD, but I'm sitting at the table because you guys are going to go do a thing. And you're just kind of prepped, but I'm sitting at eye level with Steve's dick and he's in his pants and I'm trying to move around, look anywhere, but Steve's just having this conversation in the event, da-da-da.
I wear a cup, Gibby.
It does not matter, sir.
Honestly, if I don't wear a cup, it kind of looks like roadkill.
Oh, God.
It does a very tight pants.
Well, that sounds painful.
Which is why he switched to stand.
Indeed.
No, as we were saying, there's the Portland thing. You guys are going to go do a thing. You're prepping ahead of time. There's something going on the main stage. I'm just me and a couple of the other authors who are or the guests are just sitting there, just chilling a little bit. I'm sitting at my table, kind of doing something. I look up and it was you and Judy. You were in Stan character and she was in a Gigi character. And you're talking to JLD ahead of time, but again, eye level. But also Judy being so short, she's also just eye level as well. But it's weird. But I was trying to look anywhere but your crotch, but I couldn't stop.
Well, again, yeah, I believe that is also an important part of the costume process when it comes to relating to readers. Maximum crotch.
I mean, what about you guys? Do you all have a game plan, a technique for being at cons, or just do what you can where you can?
That stupid hat I wear is so people see me as this because it's recognizable. Few authors sit around wearing that hat. A lot of us bald guys with a beard tend to switch to the cabbie hat or the Scully type cat. But so when I wear that Outback hat, you see me from a distance, you know who I am. So anybody, they recognize me year after year after year. The beard might get a little more gray, but the hat doesn't change. So that's what people recognize me from that. And I always want to just, if you want to engage, I'll talk with you. I'll match your energy. We'll have a good time. But when the day's over and I'm either swimming and resting or eating, when I get back in that room, it is crash because it's like after you've been driving on the interstate for however many hours, your mental energy is gone. I have nothing left. So when I go to bed that night, it is because I am tapped out.
I had the weirdest experience when I first met you, Gibby, and I think Matt Dinneman was there too. You guys were. One of you was driving and I hitched a ride with you to a restaurant.
We all were going over. Yeah, we were going to go meet dinner. John, you were in the front. You were in the.
No, yes. I was in the back because I was going to lie down, take a nap.
Yeah, but I was in the back seat with you and Matt was ahead of us and you guys were from the same high school or the same town or some shit.
Yeah,
like that.
we found out that we went to the exact same high school in Arizona. And yeah. He's 2 years younger than me. So of course I didn't know him. but we had, all three of us had connections to military intelligence and it was just really bizarre. But also I had that 10,000 foot stare thing going on because I was so like wiped out from the whole convention.
Well, that same convention because like I met you, met Rachel, obviously met I met John at previous conventions, but like I Drew and some of the other ones. Like, and so we're sitting at the table, like we're sitting down, Matt's to my right, and John's to my left, doing the big John talky stuff, and Drew's across from me. And you guys are business and talking and this and that. And I'm just like getting free food and just nodding my head a lot, like I belong at this table. Like you ever feel like you're the key? You got promoted up from the kids' table, but you have nothing to say. So I just like eat my food and listen.
I will say that I've kind of adopted the hat thing because I was doing a bunch of local shows, and normally I'm not a hat person, and I was noticing just like, I was like, okay, I have a better setup than a lot of these people here, but everybody's kind of walking past me. My wife was finally like, that's because you're kind of scary looking. So it was her idea. She was like, okay, why don't we try to lessen that? So my old author photo is me in this rainbow poop hat that I won at like Dorney Park years back. And I just like the photo. So I started wearing that to like these conventions. And mind you, it's not particularly comfortable because it's really a warm hat. But
oh, hey, it's the rainbow shit, man. He'll never hurt me.
Exactly. But
Sweat pouring down through his eyes, blinking.
But yes, the before and after is completely different because it totally disarms that whatever serial killer vibe apparently I've been putting on.
I try to pick a T-shirt that because again, I've always been a jeans and T-shirt kind of guy, or the summertime jeans and cargo shorts kind of guy, or should be T-shirt and cargo shorts. So I try to pick a T-shirt that is like as like, oh, that's fun, like whatever, or someone like sees like, oh, that's like a Krampus T-shirt, like I'm wearing that one, like just something like it catches an eye, like, oh, it's silly shit like that. Because I don't want to be, again, I have a mean face. I have a resting bitch face. And I know that when I'm not smiling, I have an angry face. And I'm not trying to like dissuade, like people like, I want to sell you my books, but I also want to like just talk to people. Like what is the thing that you happen to like? Like this is a convention for us nerds. Let's talk about nerdy crap. We might not agree on the same things, but this is supposed to be a celebration, not a intimidation.
I think some of that might just be the baldness, because I mentioned that part of my costume is a fun ball cap of colorful variety, and that is also similarly to soften my look, and that's not a thing I really thought about back when I had hair, but I think maybe part of losing our hair was just it makes us look a little more intense.
Yeah, especially if there's 6 of us. We look like we're in a fucking cult.
Oh, if you see the cast of our podcast walking toward you, you would cross the fucking street. Like,
you ever seen Romper Stomper? It looks a lot like that.
Yeah, and like we're just all giant. It looks like you're about to get fucking.
Well, it's
jumped.
also like that was the best thing when I get to meet everybody. I'm like, oh, we're all of similar height, build. This is cool, But also, I'm a hugger.
And then there's Emily.
Yeah, exactly. There's Emily. She's our front guy. She's our front man. We're the back.
Carry a clipboard or something.
She's like the Schnarf to our Thundercats.
But also,
except it's like it's totally deceptive because like remember when when Emily kicked everybody's ass in in Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, remember when she's murdering children in the game we play? Like I was expecting, like she's like that kid's running away. She's like, no, he's not. Hang on.
We're all a lesson in not judging by appearances.
Well, because when I first came to that first A&D con, like I'm a hug person. Like last time I meet you, shake your hand, give you a hug, kind of thing. And when I met Rick, was one of the first people there that I when I showed up, like, hey, get it. I went in for the hug. You kind of went, like, no, thank you. And I'm like, I did it anyway. And it was like, but it was like, Rick's like, Rick had this look like I need an adult. Like
Well, that's just Rick.
Like I don't know you.
Rick is not a huggy person.
But Captain Rainbow Poop is.
Well, you say that now, but if you happen to come to this convention, buddy, stealth hug. He's like, please don't. That gives me anxiety. Don't do that.
I will throw in a best practice, personal practice that I've kind of picked up through the years is I make a point of offering to take pictures with people now. I find that almost always folks say yes, it's something they want to do, but sort of going into the social anxiety, especially as we are obviously a D&D book-based podcast, it's not speaking out of hat to say that there is some of that among both us and our fans. So yeah, I try to take that burden off of them wherever I can, because I find that that's something people like, but they might not always feel comfortable asking to do.
I will even offer to stand on a chair or bench to be in the shot, which I have done. Con Carolina has nice benches that I can stand on.
It reminds me of like you see like like a group of these like muscular big ass pit bulls, and like they're all terrified of this little kitten that's in the middle.
It's like this Pekingese that's just like fucking them up. Yeah. So.
I got nothing to lose.
Bring it, motherfucker.
Oh,
will
also
end
on the
you.
subject of taking pictures, if you look, you will see my hands are always out with thumbs up because I stole that from the Wiggles because it makes sure you can always see where my hands are in a picture.
Nice.
Just very good. It's like, hey, look, very clear right here.
Yep.
In this
There's
day
some
and age,
practices. Yeah, there's some practices like many years ago, obviously, like when they used to what the term was booth babes and things like that. Sure, but like now I adopt it. If someone's cosplaying, I've had at a bigger convention, someone's cosplaying, walking around in different outfits, I adopt the same policy I have at the gym, which is like, wow, there's an interesting floor right now, or my shoelaces, like, oh, look at the ceiling over there. Like I am anywhere but. So.
Yep.
That butt.
Yeah.
So.
If there's any photos of me with my hand behind somebody, you can see that hand is not is there. It's open, flat, not touching anybody.
If my hand's behind somebody, it's because I'm using them as a glove puppet.
God.
As you can see, my hand, I grab my own crotch in every picture, just so you know where my hands are always at.
I've only molested one person that can, and that's me.
Gibby's rocking Degeneration X.
One of my favorite things that I've done is like, is when this one comes up and they're like, oh, I love your books. My friend does too. And like, he couldn't be here. I'm like, pull out your phone. Let's call him.
Yeah,
I've done that multiple times, and like it's always fun.
Sounds like you're trying to call a bluff.
I fucking believe you.
Oh, somebody thinks he has a friend, huh?
We get it. You have friends. Humble brag. Jesus. No, that actually happened. Like I was talking about, like I was talking to a con, I was talking to a fan at a con. We are just talking about books in general, and they talk about another author, and an author's a friend of mine. I was like, oh, I like this and this. I didn't like their last book as much as this, but they're a friend of mine. And then Denham is sitting behind me. He starts tweeting. MK Gibson's talking shit about this author, tags that author. That author then reaches out to me like, that's not what's happening, you son of a bitch. So yeah.
That's a fun one.
Instigating son of a bitch.
We've been to Con Carolinas a few times. Has anyone actually done anything in Charlotte?
No.
No.
I don't think we have
Other than
ever
drive
left the
out of it,
convention
no.
area.
See, I
Yeah,
did.
I drove in, I drove out. I went to the Chili's there, if that counts.
I don't know if it's actually in Charlotte as opposed to like a couple miles away, but one year we did that amusement park that's close to them.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Well, last time I went with Stone Cold, and we were there a day early. And we went, we'll go see what's in Charlotte. And we walked because we're fucking English and idiots. And you're not supposed to do that in America.
Oh my God.
Or too big.
Oh, that for those who have not been, that hotel is like right by a fucking highway.
Yeah. No, we were at a different hotel, but it was still the same price.
Oh, thank Christ.
We took our lives in our hands. But we went to the, I don't know if I talked about this, we went to the NASCAR museum.
Oh my God.
I don't think you have.
No, I think you
talked
mentioned that
about
once.
this.
Yeah.
I still don't understand anything about NASCAR, but this is a really nice museum to something I neither appreciate nor understand. And yeah, I think I'd like to do more things like that. Just go to something that's really passionately dedicated to something I don't give a fuck about or understand in the slightest. So that was interesting. But I also went to a dive bar called the Thirsty Beaver Saloon. And if you look it up, you can see that it's surrounded on all sides. It's a tiny little box bar surrounded on all sides by these big residential towers. Because when this planning permission went in, they were like, okay, we're doing this new housing development, and everybody's on board except for this one tiny bar who will not sell out. And
Good for him.
yeah, it's a grotty little bar, which is what I love. But it's just Google it. It's humorous. It's just surrounded by. It looks like Emily in the A&D cast.
I was just saying, it's like the old man's house and Up, but actually that's better. So yeah.
I am the thirsty beaver.
Nice.
Also, if I lived in an apartment complex, I would love to have a fucking tavern right there. Like that sounds amazing.
I waited till it was great.
I'm looking at photos, and yeah,
Yeah, I'm
you were
looking
right.
too. It does stand out.
Maybe we should go there. It was fun. It was old men in leather jackets and stuff. It's really seedy, but in a way I like. And
Yeah, I'm sure they'd love us coming in and bringing our D&D loving crew. I'm sure
it was
those old
fine.
men would just enjoy that shit
Bring a
out of
bunch of
that.
sorcerers there.
Oh, the Jorcerer crawl to the thirsty beaver.
Yes.
It's got
Oh.
a 4.8 on Google. That's a good review.
Nice beer in there. Yeah.
They are not prepared.
That
for
is a
Jorcerer
thing, yeah.
dissension. Oh God, I will throw out. We've talked about. I feel like we should talk a little bit about the Jorcerer crawl, because that is a big iconic moment of our cons past.
Oh yeah, that was a No, that was a Charlotte moment, but not Con Carolina's moment.
That was A&D Charlotte. So that was at the hotel where we will be doing Con Carolinas. But that in particular one was an Authors and Dragons Con.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who are wondering what the fuck we're talking about, a group of fans from our Discord community banded together and decided to all dress as Jorcerer to go do a pub crawl at some of the bars that are around the hotel. And now, Bob, you gotta step in here and correct me if I'm wrong. You had no fucking idea?
No, I think I walked out of the smoking area into the hotel, and there's like a dozen or more people dressed like me.
It's like, oh man, I must have died in the smoking area. I guess.
Here, I thought I was unique, and apparently I am not. This is.
I can't believe we all wore the same thing.
Yeah, how much did that fuck you up for a second?
Yeah, considerably.
Fair.
I was not expecting that.
I'd be goddamn horrified if you were.
It was amazing. I really like how you telegraphed Jorcerer to Sorcerer, and I was just like, well, that's a dumb name, but he's never going to do anything with that. And then
the whole character was created on the premise of not giving a fuck. It's like the drawing. It was, you guys are all making these Hero Forge characters. Fuck if I'm doing all that work. I spent 5 minutes drawing this little doodle, and I said, all right, it's called Jorcerer the Sorcerer. Fuck all of you. I'm done.
Yeah, but it's just everybody instantly got it. It's just instant branding. Oh, of course, it's a Jorcerer the Sorcerer. That's exactly what that is.
That's not too far off of when Jim Butcher, like in his story, when he the Dresden Files first came out, there was like he was a swords and sandals writer. He going back to like a writing class seminar, working with a professor, and he kept trying to do this, like, this isn't working. He's like, oh fuck it. He like, fine. He just jotted out the script, like, you want something like this, called it semi-automatic, like, now this we can publish. And it turned into that was the beginning of his whole Dresden Files career. It's like his whole fuck it, I'll just do whatever kind of thing turned into a thing.
And now we're expecting book 24.
Something like that, yeah.
I was just thinking along the lines of cosplay. We've had some really amazing people show up in podcast cosplay. Like we had a Bjorg cosplayer a few years ago that was just fantastic.
That was Zach, and it was at the 2022.
He also did a Mean Silas.
That was 2023 in Portland. Yeah.
Oh, there was a bucket one I still think about.
Yes. There was a Polly Darton too.
There was
the
a Polly
person with the
Darton,
ukulele.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It was so cute.
There was a Brenda Fymester.
Wasn't that Queen Crush?
It would have been Queen Crush, yeah.
And didn't like we all like break out into song like You Are My Sunshine in the middle of like the convention?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
which was like
moment.
wow, in the middle of all this horror, there was that one moment of sunshine.
It's like Christmas in the trenches. Yeah, if you're listening to this and you're going to Con Carolinas, represent. Let's get some A&D cosplays in there, and it'll be especially funny because nobody will know what the fuck you're talking about. And
yeah, I think all my T-shirts will be A&D based at that point. I think I have a few Dicey Bastards T-shirts and just some A&D T-shirts to wear. So yeah,
and you might convert some people. You never know.
I have a Dicey Bastards magnet on my car when I drive everywhere. So
I didn't even know we made those.
Yeah, I know. Same here.
Well, I'm glad you kept it with the merch. Yeah, it's all the.
I would have loved to give it. Was like, we don't. I had that custom.
The problem with TeePublic is it defaults to T-shirt, but you can actually get fucking anything.
Yeah, when you click on the thing you like, you scroll down. They're like, would you like it also like in a phone case or a tote bag or a pillow or a fuck stick or whatever. So you just buy. So yeah, I got the magnet. I got the Dicey Bastards logo, just that face with the Bastards logo on a magnet on the side of my car.
Smart
Very
idea.
cool.
Everybody should do that.
Because the rear is like apparently not magnetic anymore. Nothing back there is actually metal. It's all plastic, so it doesn't hang on the back.
We had one more thing we wanted to talk about since we are looking ahead toward conventions. Fantasy panels. If you could create a panel from, I don't even know how we want to do this. Do you want to do guests too, Steve, or do you want to just do topic?
Whatever you choose to do.
Well,
guest or
Eye
topic.
of the beholder. You can do just topic. You can do cast as well. I will kick off with an easy, a light one. I would love to do a long form storytelling lessons from wrestling panel with Gibby and Hartness. Because I think the three of us could have a very good panel, and we wouldn't necessarily have to deal with people who didn't know about wrestling.
I tell you what, like, so a couple years ago, I was at Con Carolinas actually, and they had a panel. It was like storytelling and wrestling. And I, Drew and I, we've talked about this in the past. Steve was there too, but like you have a love for wrestling and the storytelling that is pro wrestling. Like, who's a good guy? What's a bad guy? How you set this up, and like you again, like, it's just like a first act, second act, 3 act structure. It's amazing what wrestling can teach you about storytelling. In fact, my superhero book is actually it's superheroes and wrestling together in one thing. That's why I loved it so much. But I'm at this panel and I'm trying to talk about that, but it turned into just favorite moments of pro wrestling. And you could tell some of the people who came to hear about storytelling and like, cause they're taking notes, they tuned out, and it was irksome because it's like, I kept trying to bring it back to how does this relate to storytelling? How does this Nikita Khrushchev storyline against so like build up over time? How do you tell a story through that? And it just turned to like, isn't Ric Flair cool? I'm like, I don't want to do that. So yes, I want a storytelling in wrestling. I'm with you on that.
I would like to see a live one shot with some of you original guys, like get Joe Brassi come back. I don't know, Drew, you could game master, dungeon master if you wanted to.
A reunion,
yeah.
Well, it's like when John had asked, like, if we happen to do a live thing, who would you like to DM? Like, not me. People are not going to come to see Drew, so do that. Exactly.
I mean, I don't know if we have confirmed that we are going to be able to do that, but I can say that we have put out the willingness and the interests, and if the scheduling allows,
they're working on the programming. Yeah. So yeah,
then that would be wonderful. And I will say that if the stars align and we are granted that opportunity, we have something incredibly special planned for it. You might even say the launch of something new.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, we'll talk about it after the call.
I feel like I should. I was like, the hell did I miss?
Well, we'll definitely talk about it after the call.
So we've talked about a lot of things, and like Drew has a lot of great ideas, and but we don't do half of them. So I'm like, which one is he talking about?
We don't do it.
Honestly, with regards to fantasy panels, I don't really have anything that comes to mind. I would just want, the panels to be explained clearly ahead of time. Because Bob and I wound up on one at Con Carolinas where it was basically like censorship in books, and we thought it was going to just be a fun thing about how it's like, yeah, we say whatever the fuck we want. No, it was a really heavy panel, and I think both of us were sitting there.
I think that was on us,
okay.
though.
Yeah.
In retrospect,
we're the ones that should be censored.
Exactly.
I think I'd lean into that for my fantasy panel. I think I'd do something like turning emotional pain into comedy, and just really round up all those people you meet at cons who are just instantly trauma share with you, and like just get them all in a room. And I'm like, okay, well, how can we make that horrific story you just shared with a group funny? Come on, guys.
You know what panel I think I would like to do? And honestly, this is one that I might not need to be on it, but John Hartness would definitely need to be on it. But I would want to be on it. Is a panel about advice for being on panels?
Because just better as fuck.
A coffee table book about coffee tables.
It sounds way too inside baseball, but honestly, we've all done enough cons at this point that I feel like we've all seen a lot of people making the same mistakes over and over. Like the person who, if everybody else answers a question in about 30 seconds, they take 3 minutes. Don't
the
be
granddad
that person.
telling a story guy. Yeah.
Or the person who tries to get way too in depth on their books when they're answering a question. Like, okay, well, this character, this is usually the 3-minute person as well.
Yeah.
But they go way, way, way too deep. It's like, no, like you can do details, but you gotta hit it fat. You gotta do macro overview. Like
when I was writing such and such book, taps the one on the table. I believe like it had nothing to do with the topic at hand. Yeah,
I think you can reference your books because like people in the audience they might know the property. I don't think that, but I think you have to just keep it quick. Like I used this character to do this, and that illustrates this point in X way. Like
sure, but it has again. If it's a you're talking about the actually subject matter that and you happen to reference something you did, that's cool. If it's a plug, that's when I tune out as a fan and as a fellow writer. It's like you up there. Unfortunately, yeah, sometimes it is personality based. If you have a bigger personality, they're going to come find you afterwards. Like, hey, I liked your personality. What are your books like? And it does happen that way. It's sad, but it does.
But it's even worse when that 3-minute person. There's a big name on the panel,
yes.
and that person is purposely like yapping away at a big crowd, and it's like nobody's here to see you. Shut up.
Right.
Oh God, yeah. I don't think I've ever been on a panel with like a big author where I said more than maybe five sentences together in an answer, because it's like you gotta play to the crowd, and I know what the crowd is here for.
I'm like on a panel like
So
Drew.
basically,
fuck that guy.
most of this panel is just going to be like how not to be an awkward fuck.
I mean, but like truly, a lot of it is I don't know. I think the example bit is if they are engaging with the question and using an example, that makes sense to me. If they're trying to be like, and this is why the Vampire Lord series is so important.
Yeah,
That's probably a real series. Sorry, whoever writes that. I was just grabbing the title.
I was on a panel.
I'm not trying to start shit.
A couple of years ago, I was on this panel that I was a fill-in. Like I didn't sign up for this panel. I didn't ask for this panel. I was just like, we have a leftover person, and you get the luck of the draw. You get to be the person on this panel. The panel was what basically like Southern literature, Southern fantasy literature. What's it like being a Southern fantasy author? I am neither Southern, like I do not live in the South End. I don't like. So it's like I'm on there like so, and of course the moderator like, and MK Gibbs, what do you think about like this thing? I'm like I said, ma'am, I don't know. I have to be very honest with everybody here because I'm going to be disingenuous. Otherwise, I'm not. Listen to my voice. I'm not from the South. I'm from the North. However, I have Southern family. So here's what I like about Southern literature: X, Y, and Z. And here's what I, as a fan, would like to see: A, B, and C. And I shut the fuck up after that. So I'm not going to sit there trying to pretend to be something I'm not.
Yeah, I somehow wound up on a panel one time where it was basically about Black authors and Black literature and stuff, and I was like, and I mean,
Rick, you had the opportunity to do the
Hold on a
funniest
second. I got to put on
thing.
some makeup first.
No.
oh my God.
Steve, you know what to do. Time for another bleep.
I'm pretty sure during it, I basically said at one point, I'm like, obviously, I can't speak to this, so I'm gonna keep my answers as short as possible, because
I would have given the Steve Martin monologue from The Jerk.
I'm gonna say Rick probably made the better call on that one.
Fine. You can do that if you want. Safe way.
I mean,
No, 100%.
I had one panel where it was 4 of us originally, and 2 people had to leave early, so it was just okay. So it left 2 of us, and there was no moderator, so we were just filling up time. Except the person I had to take over the panel because the person I was with was answering questions that nobody asked. He was pretty much answering questions that the voices in his head were answering, and he was just mumbling his answers instead of like talking into like the mics. So it's like every time he spoke, you could just see people getting more and more uncomfortable in the audience. So I probably thought I was a jerk because I kept kind of jumping in to like steer us back on track, but it was just like, this is getting weird.
Yeah.
It's like, no offense, dude, but maybe consider never doing panels again.
Yeah. Although to be honest, like in Drew's panel, teaching how to bounce off other people and kind of assist other people is again a basic human skill that maybe you should learn before being on a panel. But yeah, Drew, I'm starting to come around to your idea.
Yeah.
Basic humaning skills.
Should I reference the fact that, if you're on a panel, sometimes it's good to reference the answer that another panelist gave in your own answer, just to A, loop it back into germane topics, and B, show that you were listening?
Yeah, as you might do in a real human conversation.
I almost feel like a panel like that shouldn't be volunteered. It should be voted on. So people would be like, yes, this person actually should be on this one.
It's like, all right, and well, we added a panel for you on Sunday. It is mandatory if you want your hotel per diem.
Like there's a military like university, American military university, like they have an online thing for soldiers. The soldiers say there's Marines in it, but the first class you have to take is how to take an online classes class. Like just like here's how you literally like take an online class. Here's how you have to answer like you have to answer these certain things. You have to get into these discussions, like clicking buttons. It's like it is just how to be a student in the digital world makes the most sense. So yeah, I agree with this.
I think Drew should lean into the meta nature and have like the back end of the wall where the panel is a mirror. But then about halfway through the discussion, Mirror Drew gets up and goes, "Wait, that's not me." And then the mirror cracks. I mean, it's got nothing to do with the panel thing, but it'll fuck a lot of people up.
And it should probably reference that, honestly, if this panel was offered by Hartness, I would go of my own volition, because that man has done more cons than all of us rolled together.
And it'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, his first lesson would be try and be funny and charming so people actually want to listen to you.
That is sort of the flaw, is the people who would benefit the most from this and the ones who would seek it out are the ones who probably need it the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a great panel, but the wrong people would be there.
The panels I never want to be on. I never want to be on a panel that's about a topic and one of the authors just writes on that topic. Meaning, like if I'm on a Star Wars panel, I do not want to be on there who's or like with an author who wrote like one of the Star Wars books. Nope.
I did
Don't
that.
put me on there.
I did that at Dragon Con. They were like, yeah, we need you to be on a panel on apocalyptic fiction. It's like, okay, I know fuck all about that, but I thought maybe nobody else does too. No, they were all very serious experts. But I had fun, so that's the important thing.
Because I will tell my opinions on Star Wars. The next thing I know, like I got these death eyes. Like, okay, apparently I pissed off some people here. Okay, well, all right. Good to
I was
know.
on an isekai panel once, and I got halfway through it before I remembered what series I wrote that is technically an isekai. Villains Vignettes, the side story with Ivan. There you go, everybody.
I think the most side I ever got. I've done several like comedy and like in writing panels, and there always is every single time the question comes up, is there any topic you should not joke about? And without a doubt, that gets heavy. Everybody's like gets really like deep in that, and then they get to me, and I'm like, as long as you go absurd, there's really nothing you can't joke about. And it's like,
for instance, let me tell you about this time I was on a Black literature panel.
I don't know. It's just like you could just feel the room dry up when you do that.
Speaking of drawing up, I do want to give a pitch for one of the best panels at Con Carolinas, which is usually after hours. It's the one on erotica, and it is super funny. There's usually cackling throughout the whole thing, especially if I drag Rachel, who turns like the shade of a beet, but super fun.
Oh, that's like just in general, conventions and panels in general. Please, none after 8 o'clock. For the love of God, like I have drinking to do. I like nothing worse. I see like this panel's at midnight. I'm not showing up. I'm being very honest with you. You can put me. I'm the moderator. Not going to be there.
I will say this one, Gibby. If you get on a Saturday night Dragon panel at any point, that is probably going to be worth it, because that is usually like a big thing. I've gotten to do Solve for X twice, and that is a Saturday night panel, and that's easily usually the biggest crowd I see. It's a lot of very, very fun, very engaged folks. But outside of that specific
miserable.
Dragon Con limitation, yeah, I'm right there fucking with you.
Like, listen, I'm of an age now. Like my sleep is much more important than whatever the fuck we're talking about. I want to have a drink. I'm hungry. I've been standing all goddamn day, and I do not want to talk about a men's place and women's feminism part 7. Like, don't care. I'm out. Fuck off. Not happening.
Who's doing serious panels at night? Like, I went to a bar stories panel last time I was at Dragon Con. That feels right.
No, sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Those late night Con Carolina, most of them are like light, but I was on one that was like, it was like 11 o'clock at night, and it was just like a serious one. And we're all sitting there going, are any of us in the mood to do this shit right now?
No.
Yeah. Night panels are for fun. Like, if you can't have a beer open at a night panel, you shouldn't be doing that panel.
I like the panels where I show up, like us, the panelists, and like 3 people show up. I'm like, hey, what do you really want to talk about? Because clearly the topic is not enough for everybody. What do you want to talk about? And we'll make it happen.
All right, we are almost out of time. I want to close by telling y'all about, still hands down, the best panel I've ever seen at any convention in my life. It was at one of the Rooster Teeth conventions many years ago. I was there with friend of the podcast, Greg Slagle, who's I think been on a couple of things as a guest. Very cool guy. Anyway, we went to Craig is Better Than You at Mario Kart, the panel. It was a dude sitting up on stage with a CRT TV, a Super Nintendo, and Mario Kart plugged in, and just taking on all comers. And he sat there for an hour and he beat every single fucking person that lined up.
That's cool.
I was like, impossible to replicate the best fucking panel I've ever been to.
The pressure on that guy must have been incredible because he came out
was
with a
having the
very
time of
bold
his
statement.
life.
He had to. Now he's a guy who had to stay sober all day for that.
I don't know.
Or not.
According to him, his record is 26 years and
Oh my
Nice.
god.
Jesus.
yeah. Craig is better than you at Mario Kart.
He's like the king
that's-
of Kong of freaking Mario Kart. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
That one stuck with me. All right, everybody. Hope you've had fun on this convention discussion, and I hope you will join us at Con Carolinas for all the fun and frivolity and surprises we have in store, because we have barely even scratched the surface on all the things we've got planned. But to see that, you'll have to join us there. Until then, bye.
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 You've been listening to Dicey Bastards, courtesy of Authors and Dragons. Check us out at authorsanddragons.com or look up our Patreon if you want to support us, get secret content, and hang out on our Discord. Music by the Gore Core 4.
I spent 5 minutes drawing this little doodle. It is called George the Sorcerer. Fuck all of you.